In the heart of the African savanna, beneath a moonless sky, an old dog stood his ground. His name was Baron. His fur, once golden and groomed, was now matted with blood and dust. His legs trembled with exhaustion, but his eyes, clouded with age, never left the rotting wooden door behind him. 3 hyenas circled closer. Their laughter cut through the darkness like broken glass. Baron's lips pulled back, revealing worn teeth. A low growl rumbled from deep in his chest. He had fought this battle every night for over a year. And he would fight it again. Because 12 months ago, a man had said 5 words to him. "Stay here. I'll be back soon." And Baron believed him. Let me take you back. Back to a time when Baron's coat still shined, when his steps were still steady, when the cabin wasn't yet swallowed by vines and rust. Arthur Weber was 73 years old, a retired biologist who'd spent his final years in a research outpost deep in the savannah. Baron, his loyal companion of 12 years, was no puppy either. At 10 years old, Baron had earned every gray hair on his muzzle. That morning began like any other. Arthur scratched behind Baron's ears, the left one, always the left one first, and smiled that crooked smile that made his eyes crinkle. "Stay here, Baron. I'll be back soon." 5 words, a promise that had been kept 1,000 times before. Baron watched the dusty pickup truck disappear down the dirt road, tail wagging slowly. He would wait. He was good at waiting. Arthur never made it to town. Halfway to the market, his hands tightened on the steering wheel. Pain shot through his chest like lightning. The truck swerved. He managed to pull over before his vision went dark. A passing farmer found him slumped over the wheel, called for help. The ambulance arrived within 20 minutes, but 20 minutes was 19 too many. Arthur Weber was pronounced dead at the rural clinic at 11:47 a.m. His last conscious thought was of an old dog waiting on a dusty porch. He never got to take back those 5 words. He never got to say goodbye. And Baron never knew. All Baron knew was that the sun set, and his master didn't come home. 3 weeks later, David Weber arrived at his father's cabin. He'd been dreading this. Not just the grief, though that was heavy enough, but what he knew he'd find. Baron. The dog was barely recognizable, ribs pressed against matted fur, eyes sunken but alert, staring down the empty road with an intensity that made David's throat tighten. "Come here, boy," David said softly, approaching with a leash. "Let's go home." Baron's response was immediate. A low growl, a step back, then another. "Baron, please, Dad's gone. You can't stay here." But to Baron, leaving meant surrender. Leaving meant accepting that Arthur wasn't coming back, and he wasn't ready to accept that. When David moved closer, Baron bolted. Not far, just to the forest edge. Close enough to watch the cabin, far enough to stay free.
Baron!
David waited for hours, calling, pleading, bribing with food. Baron wouldn't come. As the sun set, David had no choice but to leave, alone. From the shadows, Baron watched the car disappear in a cloud of dust. Then he returned to his post, to his promise, to his wait. The seasons turned. Vines claimed the walls. The door rusted from silver to deep orange, and Baron transformed. No longer a pet, no longer domesticated, he became something else, a feral guardian of a memory. His survival instincts awakened after years of dormancy. He learned to read the wind, to hear danger in the silence, to move like a shadow. Every night, predators came, jackals testing his resolve. hyenas circling with patient hunger. Once, even a young leopard prowled too close. Beren fought them all. His body bore the cost. Scars crisscrossed his shoulders, a torn ear, a limp that never quite healed. But he never left that porch for more than an hour. And mysteriously, he never starved. An old lioness, cast out from her pride, had been watching. She recognized something in Beren's vigil. Something familiar. Loyalty. Loss. The refusal to let go. Every few days she would leave part of her kill near the cabin, just far enough that Beren wouldn't see her, close enough that he'd find it by morning. 2 outcasts. 2 mourners. Keeping each other alive without ever meeting. A year and 2 months after Arthur's death, David returned. This time, he'd brought something else. He'd finally gotten permission to move his father's body to the family plot, a small cemetery just 20 miles from the cabin. "Beren," he called softly.
"I have something to show you."
Maybe it was the tone. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe after all this time, Beren was finally ready. He emerged from the tree line, slower now, thinner, older than any dog should look. David didn't try to grab him. He simply opened the truck door and waited. After a long moment, Beren jumped in. They drove in silence to a quiet cemetery surrounded by acacia trees. David led Beren to a fresh grave marker. Arthur Weber, beloved father and friend to all creatures. Beren's nose touched the ground, and he froze. That scent. That scent. Arthur's scent, buried deep in the earth. Beren began to dig, frantically, desperately, clawing at the dirt with what strength he had left. Then suddenly he stopped. He understood. A sound broke from him then. Not a bark, not a howl, but something ancient and primal. A sound of grief so pure it seemed to crack the sky itself. He collapsed beside the headstone and fell into a sleep so deep, David thought he'd died right there. David carried Beren's sleeping form to the truck and began the long drive to the city. He would give this old warrior a comfortable end, a warm bed, proper food, peace. But halfway through the journey, Beren woke, his clouded eyes fixed on the window, half open to let in air. Through it, he could see the savannah stretching endlessly behind them. Somewhere back there was a grave. Somewhere back there was Arthur. Before David could react, Beren lunged. Through the window he went, tumbling onto the dusty road with a yelp of pain.
Baron! No!
But the old dog was already running, not away from something, toward it. His legs burned, his heart hammered, his vision blurred, but he ran. Back to the cemetery. Back to Arthur. David found him 3 days later. Beren was lying on top of Arthur's grave, his body curled around the headstone as if protecting it. His eyes were closed. His breathing had stopped. He looked peaceful. David knelt beside him, tears streaming down his face. "You stubborn, loyal, beautiful fool," he whispered. He buried Beren right there, right next to Arthur. 2 graves side by side, a man and his dog. Together at last,